Hello everyone, Dave here back with another video, and surprise, surprise, we're playing more Fire Emblem Engage. Today I wanted to talk about some tips and tricks for people new to Engage. I mean, it's a new game, so I am sure that people are picking it up for the first time, obviously. I'm also still very new to it, as it only came out, I think about a week ago, as of time of recording this. So, some of my tips will be primarily for Engage itself, and then a few, I think, maybe for Fire Emblem in general. So this could potentially be your first Fire Emblem game, and if it is, welcome. Fire Emblem is an excellent franchise, and we're happy you're here. You're gonna love it. Definitely recommend playing Three Houses as well. It's on the Switch, and if you want to branch out into the Dynasty Warriors territory, play Three Hopes. That was actually a very solid game, a very fun, Fire Emblem game with the Dynasty Warriors spin on it. So, just a few recommendations there. If you like Engage and want to try more of the Fire Emblem franchise, of course, if you have a 3DS, it's definitely harder to find people that have a 3DS here in 2023. But give Awakening and even Fates a try. People didn't like Fates. I thought it was fine. Like I said in my previous video, a Fire Emblem game is a lot like pizza. Even when it sucks, it's still pretty damn good. So anyway, back to my actual video here and what I'm doing. A few tips. So first off is when you're done with a battle, almost every, I think, if not every battle, has you spawn in this location where you can run around and basically explore the map that you just fought on, which I gotta say is very fun. It definitely shows you that they put a lot of detail into these maps because they knew the player would have the opportunity to then explore them later on, because the maps in this game definitely feel a lot more vibrant. When you zoom in from the overhead perspective and zoom into a fight, your characters are actually located where they are on the map. I can't count the number of times in like Three Houses when you would zoom in and the arena that you're fighting in looks completely different, or you just look like you're in a basement somewhere, or it looks like your characters are just action figures that are being tossed around rather than actual combats fighting in a real space. So I gotta just shout out whoever designed the levels and such. But anyway, I keep sidetracking myself. Apologies. So my first tip is explore this area. I know that sounds a little self-explanatory, but when you're done with a mission and you reached a new bond level, or one of your characters leveled up and you finally unlocked that class that you want to turn them into, or this mission ends on a very interesting note and you're like, okay, where's this story gonna go next? Or you want to head back to the Somniel or whatever. It can be a little like, man, I gotta run around this whole thing. But trust me, it's worth it. And talk to every character, especially the ones that you had in battle, because they'll give you bond fragments. And especially in the beginning of the game, bond fragments are very useful. I mean, they're always useful. But you can adopt pets as well, and that's always fun. I have my whole garden at the Somniel full of kitty cats, and that's fun for me because I love kitty cats. But yeah, so I talked to Jean here. He gave me 50 bond fragments just for talking to him. You can even skip through it because people often don't have anything to say and they just kind of grunt at you. Let's see. Oh, God, that's the worst. Remember to donate. That's a bonus tip for you. If you want to adopt camels, you got to donate to these countries. But anyway, run around these areas because not only is it cool, but you get bond fragments for basically doing nothing. And like I said, they're very important. But also you get potatoes and extra stuff that will go a long way with helping you cook and helping you upgrade your weapons and pretty much everything else under the sun. So first tip is explore these areas. They're really important. Okay, so we're back in the Somniel for my second tip, and also just a little bit left over from the first tip. All the blinking that you see is more free stuff to pick up. It can be very annoying to get back after a battle and want to just do something else, but then you got to run around your whole Somniel picking stuff up. But again, that stuff helps you out, especially in the early game. But anyway, this next tip, also this is where you donate. probably a lot of this might be self-explanatory, but again, these are for new people, so some people may not know it yet. So I figured I'd just go over stuff. But anyway, this is where you donate. I mentioned that in the last tip. But anyway, tip 2 is going to be in the ring chamber here, and that's to create bond rings. I mentioned bond rings briefly in my Fire Emblem Engage Impressions video, but I wanted to go over it a little more deeply here because honestly, I'm a dummy and I didn't pay attention when they told me about bond rings, and I completely missed it. And they're actually pretty cool and kind of important. So let's see, I did a lot for Awakening is one of my favorite games, and Lucina is my girl. She's number 1, probably my favorite Fire Emblem character. So I did a lot of her bond rings, but I also like Ike. So let's do Ike. This is where the gacha system comes into play, and a lot of people didn't like that. I personally don't have an issue with it. I understand why people don't like a gacha system being in here because it's a slippery slope. And I do get that for sure. But as of right now, it just costs your bond fragments. It's not real money. And it allows you to get bond rings. I'm going to skip. All right, so we got Soren, Shinra, Titania, Mist, Ileana, Gotri. So yeah, we got a good amount of people. So then what you can do is meld them if you have extras. Let's see. We don't have any doubles of Ikes or really anybody's. But then what you can do is you can then take those bond rings, go to your inventory, and let's see, we just picked up Marin. She's new to the party, doesn't have a ring. Let's say all of my emblem rings are taken up, but I want to give Marin a little boost. So what we do is not go to inventory, emblem rings. We go to Marin, and we, can't give her a emblem ring, but we can give her a bond ring. So I don't really know who I would give her. I'll just give her one of Ike's because we just crafted those. But you see she gets boosts. She gets a lot of, really worthwhile stuff. We'll give her Titania S. Why not? There. Have that. Enjoy it. Don't say I never gave you nothing. All right. But anyway, that was stupid. But yeah, so bond rings can give a little extra boost and a little extra oomph to some characters that maybe aren't good enough or don't get a emblem ring for whatever reason. I don't judge. I'm not going to judge you if you don't want to give them an emblem ring. That's for you to decide. That's between you and God. So tip number 2 is make. Tip number 3, we're going to stay in the Somniel for this one, is maybe not even a tip. I'm just going to show you guys how to unlock the weapon proficiencies. I didn't know this, and I had to look it up online. So if I didn't know it, I'm kind of dumb. So it's very true that I could have just not known it. But there potentially could be someone out there that also doesn't know it. So anyway, I mentioned in the last video that I want to turn my Diamant into Dimitri. So I want him to use spears. Or lances, sorry. But he can't use lances until now. Because I paired him up with... if I can... Okay, I paired him up with Edelgard. They're at a bond level 9 because you unlock spears via Dimitri. I still haven't gotten like Sigurd and everybody back, so obviously I'm still very raw in this game as well. Spoiler alert: you lose your rings. I'm sorry if that's a spoiler. I mean, it kind of is, so I apologize for that. I really didn't think about it. But now, as I'm showing you my rings and you're seeing that Marth, who is front and center in the game and the character you get right away is gone, that kind of spoils the fact that you lose them. I apologize. Feel free to yell at me in the comments. I can take it. I'm a big boy. But anyway, you go to your emblem rings, you equip whatever. So let's say, just hypothetically, let's say my Diamant doesn't know how to use spears yet. You would equip Edelgard and... Whoops, sorry, I already did that. Wait, no, I didn't. Okay. And then you can go to bond effects, and you can see, okay, when do I get spears or lances? I keep calling them spears. Level 9. All right. So that takes a lot of bonding. So you could just throw Edelgard on. Oh, pause. You could just put the Edelgard ring onto Diamant and have him go about it, or you can go to the arena here and use that to pair up their bond pretty quickly. Again, cost bond fragments. It's not really that big of a deal, but it does unlock the lance proficiency so that, now you can use lances for your demon. You can do the same thing with everybody. So let's see. Louis I'm trying to turn him into use the healing art skill, like the new art skill, because why not? So basically, that involves him I'm going to the wrong menu here. I'm sorry. That involves him being paired up with Tiki. So I pair him up with Tiki. Okay, when do they unlock it? He unlocks it at level 6. So I can change him to an art class at this point. Which actually kind of leads me into my 4th tip. We're just going to keep rolling here. Tip number 4. So basically, to backtrack just slightly, that ends tip number 3, which is basically just a quick overview of how to actually change your weapon proficiencies. Like, if you want Clan to use a sword, pair him up with, I have him paired up with Lucina, and wait until their bond is big enough for him to unlock the sword, and then you can change him to a sword class. Tip number 4 is one that is not necessarily just for Engage, but for any Fire Emblem. And how I usually play Fire Emblem games is I like to wait until my classes are level 20, max out completely, before I change them. I know that can be a bit of a bummer for people, because it's like, oh, I unlocked this cool new class, I want to change it. And go, by all means, play the game however you want to play it. I'm not sitting here saying that you can't do that. But to maximize your skills, I usually wait until level 20, which is why, even though I unlocked the fighting art thing for Louis, I haven't changed him yet because he's only level 19. Once he hits level 20 and maxes out his stats, that's when I'll change him. To basically just by the end of the game, my units are tanks because they have like maxed out skills, or at least the maximum that I could get out of them at the time, because I because I waited until they were level 20 to get the full effect of their stat boosts. So that so basically that's just how I play. Again, you don't need to play that way, you really don't, but if you want to get the absolute most out of your characters, wait until they're maxed out level 20 in a class before you give them a new class. Okay, next is a quick two-parter on tips. Firstly, I don't even remember what tip number we're on. Tip number whatever is in the beginning of the game, don't use Vander. I know he's cool. I know he's awesome. He's like a cool Santa Claus with an axe. Is amazing. But Vander pretty much is the same as Frederick was in Awakening, and anyone who's played Awakening knows that Vander is a super overpowered unit that is there to help get you out of tough fights if you need to in the beginning of the game. He's way too strong. He doesn't get any experience for killing anybody. Like, even now, he's only level 2, and he still holds his own against some of these like level 17 enemies. I took him into Lynn's paralog mission, and he was fine, and he literally leveled up to level 2 during that mission. So that's a quick little bonus tip for you, is use Vander a little bit later in the game, or at the very least use him sparingly. I know he's awesome, but it's just not worth eating up all that experience that could be better used on your other units. And then my final tip is have fun. No, seriously. Could you imagine if I just ended the video that corny? Anyway, no, but seriously though, have fun, because this game is fun. But final tip is another kind of Fire Emblem tip, not really related just to Engage. And I know I didn't show it here because I'm just auto-battling, just so I don't have to actually like play the game. But move your healers last. I can't count the number of times where I moved a healer and then moved somebody else, especially in the beginning, because you don't quite know how your enemies are going to move just yet. So, like, in the beginning of a match, or battle, why did I say match? Move your healers last, because you might run into a situation where you move a unit, they get attacked, and then you already moved your healer, so you can't heal them, and then the next turn or two, they're dead. So obviously, if someone needs healing and you want that done right away, go ahead and heal them. But the beauty of Fire Emblem is that you move and then your enemy moves. So if someone needs healing right away, you still have breathing room to get to them. You don't need to do it right away if it's your turn. So I highly recommend moving your healing units last, just to make sure that you got the whole board ready, everyone is where they need to be, and then you can go ahead and move your healers to make sure that they can heal. And then if everyone is all right, nobody needs healing, then that's when you use your healers to attack. Especially in this game, in previous games you don't often use your healers to attack, but in this game, the cool new art system where they can do martial arts but also heal is very cool. It's a new addition that I really like. So I'm over here talking crap about Vander being good, and he's here getting his ass kicked. I just realized that. But so maybe he is a little too weak at this point in the game. But in the beginning of the game, he is way too strong. So my point still stands, at least for the beginning of the game. But anyway, move your healers last. That way you have a better idea of how the battlefield looks and what units actually need help and what units don't. So yeah, that was it. Those were a few tips that were suited to help you out here in Fire Emblem Engage, and a few that could be useful in other Fire Emblem games. So again, if this is your first Fire Emblem, let me know in the comments. Let me know how you like it. I hope these tips helped. I'm getting my ass kicked, so I better stop auto-battling and actually help my units out a little bit here. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you want to like, subscribe, comment, I appreciate all the support. It means a lot to me. I really want to get back into making videos a little more regularly, and I would love to be a Fire Emblem channel. That would be awesome. So again, hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace. Bye.